Thank you very much for joining us for this segment of In Conversation With. Today, we're fortunate enough to be sitting with Inayeth Govender, who works as part of Tarsus On Demand, which is our cloud division. Hello, Inayeth. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Rositta. Thank you so much for having me.
I know you're very, very busy, so we'll try not to keep you on for too long. I usually ask people what they're having in their cup because we're going to be talking for some time, and I think in between that we can take some sips. So I'm going to start with myself and share that I'm drinking plain old simple water because it is rather a hot day that we're experiencing. What's in your cup?
Yeah, perfect. So in my cup today, I've actually got some green tea. I love having some green tea. It helps, de-stress you sometimes, and also just keeps you hydrated.
Oh no, 100%, which is important with the weather that we're looking at lately. There's many people within Tarsus, and you've been fortunate enough to work with quite a few of them. Who do you look up to within the group, and why?
I think that's a good question. If I have to pick, I'd say Vinay and Anton. And the reason why I say Vinay and Anton is I've learned so many lessons from them from me joining Tarsus On Demand. For example, Vinay on strategy and go-to-market and how to create a perfect plan for our partners and help them and enable them. And Anton just being the amazing CEO that he is. I just always wanted to be a CEO myself or own my own company. So I look up to Anton and the way he does things as a CEO.
So we know Inayeth, the Inayeth that we see on a day-to-day basis because we work with you. But do tell us a little bit more about your journey and how you got to be where you are today.
Yeah, thank you. I think my journey, it starts about maybe 1 year and 6 months or so with Tarsus On Demand. So not that long in the family. But again, I use that word family very strongly because that's what we are in Tarsus On Demand. We're actually a very close family. The team started off with, I think, about 9 or 8 people in the marketing team. So I joined the marketing team as a campaign manager. And we're now sitting on, I think, 20 plus because we're moving our business into a marketing-led type of business. And if I tell you a little bit more about, my starting in the beginning, I started in the tech industry quite young, doing my A+ and N+, and doing tech support, working as server support or, administrating the databases in a particular company. Then got married, moved to Johannesburg with my beautiful wife, and we started our family. So couldn't really get a job in the tech industry because it was a bit tough. So I started off doing sales in the contact center. So I was a sales agent. Became a good and top performer. You see some of the trophies behind me, not to boast. and then became a successful sales manager after that. Yeah, and then brought me back into campaign management and data and AI, and then now we're here at Tarsus On Demand. So that's the journey in a summary.
Tell us a bit more about what your best day on the job looks like and why.
Sure, that's a tough question, Rosita, because I love what I do, and I'm just that person. I'm so passionate about working with data and working with campaigns and helping our partners, grow and retain their customers. So every day is actually a good day, and I'm blessed and I'm fortunate to work for such a company like Tarsus On Demand, where we're able to do that and have such huge impact, even though we sit at not the front end but the back end of the company, where we not customer facing all the time.
And now that you've told us about what the best day on the job looks like for you, I just want you to unpack for us what your toughest what was the toughest part of your journey thus far that you just shared with us earlier on, and how has that influenced how you support other young people within the business and the industry in general?
Yeah, so I think being a go-getter and a person that I am, very hardworking and very passionate about a project or anything that I do, what tends to happen is I get engrossed, and then what happens is you lose your work-life balance. And I think with the pandemic and seeing that shift so quickly, again, grateful, but what happens is when you're working from home now and doing remote working, your home is your office and your office is your home. So just trying to find that balance. I read some good books. Like one of my favorites is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And then what I do is when I do get a chance and opportunity within our team, I share those knowledges and tricks, tips and tricks to the youngsters like Tando, for example, which is in our team, like Kerwin, just so that they can also apply these things, so they can at a very young stage in their career apply work-life balance, so that you also take care of your health very early. It's important.
You mentioned the pandemic there, as you just answered us, and it has definitely shifted the way that we live and work and the way that we view things. And it's just, I think, also highlighted how we need to adapt and change as fast as possible. Is there anything new and exciting that you've implemented, for example, in the workplace, or any tools, that you're currently just working on, you've learned, that you think would influence our partners' experiences better?
Yeah, so definitely what we've done is in the demand generation team, which is and the GM is Vinay, where I report directly into, we've implemented a few processes that help our partner ecosystem. And one of the exciting projects that I'm actually working on at the moment is our new partner portal. And this is a complete digital experience of our partner program. And our partner program at Tarsus On Demand gives so many promises, and now we want to take those promises and actually give it to, present it to our partners in a digital way. So they can actually get enablement certification, they can apply for marketing as a service campaigns, they're able to get their data and their reports about their customers and understand when they need to cross-sell or upsell, and so much more, like getting technical support and technical templates when they need it. So they can log into their portal and get all of this access, and includes even a live chat bot that they can ingest and adopt. Just makes the cloud journey easy for a partner, because moving from a on-premise type of reseller type of approach, moving into cloud is quite difficult, and what we're trying to do is trying to make that journey completely easy for them.
So you mentioned earlier on a characteristic that you think, I think it was being a go-getter, that you think has helped you. What other characteristics do you think are indicative of a successful young person at Tarsus One and just the industry in general?
Yeah, I think in Tarsus, if I just want to talk about Tarsus a little bit, then move on to industry. For Tarsus, I think you've got to be agile, because nothing stays the same. We are forever a changing business. We're always looking to innovate, and I think that's something that needs to be a part of you. It's like almost needs to be a part of your DNA, where you're using that to your strengths. So always trying new things, always learning, working hard, being self-motivated. If you're self-disciplined as well at Tarsus, you'd actually accomplish a lot, because none of the leaders that I have encountered in Tarsus On Demand, or even the bigger group of Tarsus, follow micromanagement. So they give you a task, or we have a project, and you've got to take accountability and run with it. So also accountability is another trend. And if I want to talk about the industry, I think from a female perspective, because the tech industry is quite difficult for females. And I've got a young daughter as well, and I try to encourage her, to learn coding and to learn a lot in the tech industry. So I think from a female perspective, it's resilience. You got to be very resilient. And I think also being a good team player will help you as well, because you not all the time will you work alone, but many times you'll be roped into a project where it's a bigger team or an extended team that you'd have to work with.
Tell us more about the opportunities for growth and mentorship that you have noticed within Tarsus. Have you been a part of any programs, and if you have or not, how has that been for you? How's your experience been?
Yeah, so I was fortunate to be a part of the Miles program that Miles and Adele created, which was a management program. And we went through the exercise, and we learned quite a lot about, applying the 2020, the 80-20 principle, and quite a lot of other management processes. So it was a full-on management program. I really enjoyed it, and I learned a lot, not just from Miles and the team that was presenting, but from the broader team members in TD, and in a mix of Todd that you don't really interact with, like maybe, for example, that someone's sitting in enablement or someone that's sitting in our technical team, because we're sitting in the marketing team. We don't really always know what's happening. So it was a good experience, and I loved the teamwork, and we came together and we did a wonderful presentation, and we got some great feedback and some great learnings from the Exco team from TCG.
So our time is almost up. And I think I certainly learned a little bit more about you. Thank you for sharing. And I'm sure our viewers who are watching this will also learn a bit more about you and take away some nice advice that you gave, because there were a few key things that I think are very important for anybody, whether they're an up-and-comer or they've already made it. So thank you so much for taking the time to just sit with us. I'm going to let you go now because, like I said, I'm sure you've got a busy schedule. So let's just sign out to our viewers. Thank you so much, guys. Cheers.
Thank you, Rosita. Cheers, everybody.